What's going on, Danny Crew? It's Danny Drew here, and we are back for another day of Catan. We have another game review with the one and only my guy, actually in the top 10 in the world right now. This game was played, I think, a couple weeks ago, but Twitch, say hi to YouTube. YouTube, say hi to Twitch. There's been some friendly banter recently between Twitch to YouTube and also YouTube to Twitch, which is pretty sweet. But in today's video, we are going to be looking at this game and kind of going through my thought process in terms of, did my guy, have a really good plan for placing? What were some of the tactical decisions? So we're going to really just break it down step by step and see, hey, can we find some ways to optimize this game? And I don't know the results. I've always been told every time, I speak to my students that these are great games and that I expect nothing less. Hopefully we can really get some fun insights and have a good time. All right, let's get into it. Tito coming in with the sub to start the game review, man. The vibes are feeling good, man. Vibes are feeling good. Thank you. First position did take the 5-8-10. So far, it looks pretty principled. Whenever I look at a board, I say this every time. I just need to insert a clip that loops this statement. But every time I look at a board, I'm looking at the individual resources before I look at anything else. I'm not looking at this spot or this spot. I just want to get a sense of what's the makeup of this board. Are there certain, let's say, resources that are in high supply? Like, for instance, one thing I noticed that the wood's pretty good here. Sheep. Sheep is probably the most plentiful resource. Ore is kind of medium. Really not that much because it kind of feels like two players are going to be on the ore with these two spots here. That's interesting to note. So maybe two development card players. Like I said, tons of sheep. Brick sucks. I know. Yeah, so brick's pretty bad here. So kind of a disparity between the wood and the brick. So the brick seems pretty valuable. That's interesting. And the wheat's also interesting too, right? It kind of feels like maybe three players will get pretty solid wheat, but then one player is going to struggle. All right, interesting. As far as spots, I think the 5-8-10 makes a lot of sense. You're kind of getting that ore and wheat combination there. 8-4-3 is also pretty good. You get the best wheat and the best available ore. Kind of good to go there. What's interesting to me here is there's a lot of production spots on this board, right? You just got these big 5-6-9, which is not a sexy situation, but it's just a big production spot. I do like having a ton of wood to be able to go to a big port. So wood port could be a play. 6-9-3. I mean, all these are just interesting spots, interesting combinations. 6-3-11 is also good. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. In fourth position, I think he's got a lot of fun high production options here that he can play. So let's get the ball rolling. Let's see what he does and kind of run from there. Oh, nice. Little advertisement within the game. Yeah, 8-3-4 makes a lot of sense, kind of going for the ore-wheat combo. Though, I don't know if I would choose that. I'm kind of really tempted by this 5-6-9. It's just like a production beast. And what I really like is when I don't really have a clear plan, I just like getting a ton of cards and getting a somewhat decent port. So 5-6-9 to the 3-1 is kind of surprisingly good. Now, I do see potential play here. Maybe third might be really gravitating towards the wheat. 6-9-3 with the wheat wood port potential and the 3-1, pretty solid, to be honest with you. If some players get really funny about, I got to play with wheat because Dylan had a video that said no wheat equals defeat. So I can see a lot of players saying 6-9-3, 6-9-5, just going production beast and picking up brick on the way back. Maybe even the sheep brick combo to make the best brick situation. Kind of wild here. What would you take here in third, guys? I think 6-9-3 is probably the most principled pick just to get the wheat. And then you do have a lot of decent outs on the way back. Vacated Spade 3. Hi, YouTube. Never too late to say hi to the tubes. Okay, so he's doing some circling. Yeah. 6-9-3. By the way, it's interesting to know. When you play this game so much, you just get it's really cool to have that predictive nature, right? Okay, 6-9-3 is a kind of obvious pick given what's left. But this is, as you play more and more, you notice these patterns. You know how people play. You know what kind of trades people will take typically. So for me, I think it's cool to have that predictive nature of Catan. All right, my guy in the fourth position. Let's throw out some ideas. What do you guys like? I mean, he's got to take the 6-9-5 here. He's got to take the 6-9-5. And honestly, I'm not opposed. 6-9-5, 8-4-10 left. I mean, I think he just wins the race. It's kind of a little funky, but he gets the wood port, and all that wood just becomes super churnable. He gets the 3-1. He picks up the 12 ore. I kind of like it. The only question is, does he ever lose the wood port like 8-3 potentially to orange? It's certainly a problem. All this wood could be flexible for them. So he's got to watch out for that. It's always 11-12 here. 6-3-11 to the 4-11, 8-4-10. So 8-4-10, 6-3-11 to the 4-11. Yeah. Well, the only thing with that, I guess red just picks up the giant pile, like even like 6-5-11 points right, and then goes wood port 5-9, has a good day there. Well, okay, so if we take the 8-4-10, 6-9-5, point left, point down, this guy is going to take the 6-3-11 for sure. That makes a ton of sense. This guy needs probably the 9-4-11. And then this guy can take the 9, and this guy can take the 5-4-11, right? I think that calculation honestly works out. I think that calculation works out. Just came here in time. What's up, Blanche? 6-5-9, 6-3-11. That's also interesting too, playing the side by side where you have everything, especially after you settle to the 4-11. I don't hate it, right? That's more kind of a road game. Something about this 8-4-10 to 8-3 and then 6-5-9. But I can also do the side by side as well. So let's take a look here. Let's see what he does, and we'll kind of discuss it from there. No more speculation, but that's what I would pick. I think the calculation works out pretty well, where this player is probably going to take something like the 9, 10, 11 here, and then 4, 5, 11 is a pretty good spot for this player here. Yeah. And I like this. I mean, he's got a lot of options. I think he's got the 9-12. He's got the 8-3. Starts, and ideally, if he takes the setup, he starts with the brick because he produces a ton of wood. So my estimate is he will get... Okay. Okay, so this is actually like a very similar variation. Where this gets interesting, though, is... Okay, he has the same idea, but where it gets challenging is you cut off some of the space on the board, right? So the risk here now is if you do the calculation, 6-3-11 left, 9-4-11 left, and then where does orange go? And I could already see a case that orange might be incentivized just to go potentially 8-3. Will they go 6-9-12? Feels like 8-3 just plays a little bit better. But okay, I like what he's doing. If he loses the wood port, it's not the end of the world, but it's also a little challenging too. May force orange to 8-3. Kaladowski, what's going on, my man? No, but don't get me wrong. Like the idea of getting the double wood and the double brick, that's like if you can get double of a win condition, like double or wheat sheep, very strong. Double wood and brick, very great for longest road. So I see his idea, but now I just think he's killed that space in the board that would have been perfect for orange. So we'll see, man. I mean, this could work out just depending on really what blue's going to do. I think for red here, kind of feels like a 6-3-11 no-brainer. You could even consider like 6-3-11 right, anticipating that the 6-9-12 might even be open. I guess what's another option? 5-9. I think 8-3 is better than 5-9 for orange, just because of the flexibility of the wood port here. Okay, so he's table talking here. So that's one thing. Just think about, like, we talked a lot about this in TSI today, over the weekend. You really have to place out the board, and that's like how the best players play consistently when it comes to placements. They don't just place and pray. Like, they usually have a sense of the calculations. Yes. Points left. Probably 9, 10, 11 here. A pretty decent pick. He could also consider 9, 4, 11 left, assuming... But that's also kind of risky because the starting road might be really unfavorable. So I think 9, 10, 11 left, probably the safest pick for him. Now, if I'm playing a Discord game as blue, I make a deal, right? Say like, hey, I'll do 9, 4, 11... build to like the 3, 10, 11, and then you give orange some kind of compensation, like maybe the starting brick, and he goes something like 9, 10, 2. But we'll see. We'll see if this pays off. Yep, calculated. Now the question is, where's this guy going to go? And, you know, the thing is here, if Orange had a 3-1 port, I guess he does have the 3-1 port on the 11-12, but I just don't see this being a very attractive spot for him. He's got so much wood, no brick on this board. All right, man, let's see. But if you get away with this, I mean, kudos to you, but look at this. Guys. This is what I'm talking about. You know what? I've played this game so much. This is the thing, right? This was all calculated. Literally from the second I saw this position, I knew exactly how it was going to fold, right? Because you play this game enough, you see these patterns, you get a sense, and all of this comes from placing it out, right? Now I'm not, nothing wrong with my guy. He's a great player, but I do think he might have thought twice about playing for the greedy play here. If he just calculated out and saw that he needs to leave 4-5-11 open for Orange here. You done called it. I thought he was going to go 5-10. So the issue with 5-10 is the flexibility problem. When you're playing overweight sheep, you need speed. And really with the 5-10, he doesn't really have... Okay, he can go to the 3-1. It's not a very good settle. I just think this is better for him. Of course, he starts with the 2 resources, but he starts with 2 resources anyways. But as soon as he gets the city down, the 10 becomes a free card. He cities here. The 3 becomes a free card. His efficiency is just way better with the 8-3. And plus, it also puts a little of a hamper onto my guy's game, which, maybe might piss him off and solo get Orange solo blocked. But okay, so mistake number 1. Okay, but it's not over. I think one thing I've noticed a lot of times when you get plowed early on, the board typically feels bad for you. So that might work in his favor, honestly. Like he might be kind of feeling getting some good trades. But yeah, I think at this point he needs to play for the space, so he needs to get his ass to the 6-9-12 ASAP. I don't know, because everyone starts with sheep, I don't think this trade ever goes through. More than likely, he's probably going to have to throw some of his extra brick. That's what I think. He's going to do like a brick for a wheat. And that's probably going to be a decent trade with potentially Orange. So 10, I can see a 10 or 11 rolling, and I could see, maybe for 2 sheep here. Not a bad situation. Nope, nothing's going to happen. Also, 1 sheep's not bad from the standpoint that he actually has so much sheep that he can probably just roll into the sheep and then 4 for 1 as well. So this is something like you need to be conscious of. Like creative trading, right? If he does wood for sheep there, his likelihood of rolling a sheep this turn is like really, really high. Or he can roll a brick and then trade for the sheep anyways. So there's like these little things that you can think about where you don't necessarily have to trade for the wheat. There's other trades that could be there for you that could help you. In official Catan are MBs and yes, you can't do deals for cards, extortion for cards though. Well, there's like a whole ruling behind it and like a syntax of it. Like you can extort for cards, but you have to do it before you play a knight or roll a 7. Okay, so what are his objectives? Let's talk about what does my guy have to do to be successful here? Because obviously he lost his best port. Yeah, see right there, wood for sheep. That would have been the settle. No, he can still do it. Perfect. Okay, he doesn't even need it anyways. I think here I would do 2 cards. I would do like a wooden sheep for a wheat. Probably not going through. Oh, okay. Screw it. We get what we want. Now, this is a good insight. When you're thinking about leverage, right? Who has the trade leverage? When it's my guy's turn, does he have more leverage or less leverage? So when it's my guy's turn, on his turn, does he have more leverage on trades or less leverage? Gigs, what is going on? One of my favorite people of all time. Revo, man, we got the whole TSI coming in here. Revo, your name literally says Revo. It's Revo. What's up, buddy? All right, Zelka's like, he's got more leverage. Give me all the trades. No, he's got less leverage. Now, that's where if I'm blue and I know that my guy doesn't have any wheat, I know for a fact I can get 2 cards out of him. Right? You guys see me do this all the time. So my guy, like, perfect. He got the 1-for-1, but that was really blue should have got 2 cards, and he should have. Like, he could have 100%. Like, my guy would have been happy to throw a sheep and a wood at him. So these are just things you need to think about. You know, when you're trading on somebody else's turn, don't be afraid to get a little greedy, especially if you know it's a rare and valuable resource on this board. I'm waiting for anyone. Oh, I see what you mean. Go get out of here. No requesting scrims on my stream, bro. I think half of TSI is in here watching my guy about to do some damage with no port. Okay, so that's just a little note there for blue. You know, he missed an opportunity there. So I'm gonna flame everybody in this game. Okay, so what's the next goal here for our boy? Oh my god. Besides rolling like a god, his production is stellar. Like, I love the production that he has here. I mean, it's a lot of dots. Obviously not like the world's most efficient setup at this point in time, but it has potential. I think typically speaking, I would recommend to get like a settle and to get a city for most setups. But there's a special case with this one, which is the fact that you have to get a port as fast as you can. Like, the city doesn't make sense because you just can't churn those resources in a way that makes, like, that's just not efficient. So I think for him, he's got to get to one of these 3-1 ports, whether he goes to the 9 or he goes to the 11-12. That's got to be his sole mission here. Because then he's got all this extra wood and extra sheep, and then he can start flipping and trading and trying to build that city. But until he gets the port, the production is going to be really inefficient. So the big question for me is, does he go to the 11-12 and pick up more brick, or does he want to try to double the 9 and make that a slightly bigger roll? I actually kind of like going to the 11-12 here because, yeah, here he can probably just port for a wheat. You know, the thing is, you know, we'll wait till he finishes the trade here. Or's not bad here. There's potentially some future wheat trades. The problem is, though, his hand's about to get very clumped. So I can see him potentially 7ing out. So he goes here to the right, 11-9. Will be clutch. I was going to say 11-12. Yeah, double the 12. You know, okay, it rolls 1 in 36 times. Okay, I understand. It's not a lot of times. But you only need it to roll 1 time when it's doubled to get your money shot. So from that standpoint, I still like to invest in it. You know, it's a roll. You own it. It will roll, you know, on average 1 in 36 times. So I think the ability to get more brick, which pairs really well with all this additional wood, to double the 12. And frankly, you can always work yourself back around to this area anyways. I just think that plays a little bit better for him. So these are little things. Even though it's a 12 ore, I'm still looking at it within the scope of my strategy. And then you got Blanche, who rolls 3 brick on a 12 and then ports it for an ore. Yeah. If my guy wins this, can it be solo my guy from now on? Well, we'll see, man. We'll see. I mean, he's been winning. He's in the top 10. You know what I mean? If he leaves the 11-12, it could be 1 or 2 monster rolls for red. Yeah, I wonder. I think red's probably going to either run to the 3-1. You know, this is actually a good point. Like, it's good to kind of take stock of what's going on this board and understand what are people's plans. Red's doing extremely well. They've been building very quickly. And that's good for my guy because he'll probably have a lot more tradability and, you know, be able to pace a little bit harder. But red's doing well. He's probably going to go to the 3-1 port now that he has his city down and a nice settle. Blue's in city mode. I mean, they have to really take advantage of building a city to double the ore, to get the wheat port cooking. And then orange has to build a city. When you're playing these coastal strategies, you're giving up production. So you have to counter that by building early cities. 8-5-10, absolutely monster city. Needs to go down. Like, I don't know why he's popping devs. 8-5-10. So that's kind of like everybody's plan. I feel like blue's doing well. Orange might be losing the thread, and they definitely need to slow down red a bit here. Watch. The real test, by the way, for my guy is when he settles. Yeah, nice block. When my guy settles, will the 12 roll, right? Because think about it, if he settled on the 12, that would have been the 2 ore. So we'll see. I'm gonna have like a yeah. I think the 12 here is a fantastic block here for. Oh no, it's for blue. Yeah, this is okay. Should be red here. Yep. Oof. Actually, not even a bad. Not that bad for you, man. Like, how much wood do you actually need? Oh my god, that's brutal. I personally, I'm not crazy about that block because even if the 6, you get it 3 times, it's really only 2 cards for you because you don't have a port for it. I think much better there to do something that hurts red a lot more. Maybe the 11, which is just a huge roll for him. Maybe the 6 wheat to stop the wheat production. Nice. Pop or not? Let's go back here. There's that moment he was hovering. Yep, so he gets a trade. Hovers over the dev card button. Pop or not? Let's talk about it. Hold. Let's see if we get 2 more people to respond. Would you buy dev here? Would you hold it? You got 6 cards. 2 rolls will put you over. I think pop is fine. Okay. See what the next person says. The next person will break the tie. Pop the mono. Okay, well, yeah, I mean, if you know the mono is there, then certainly take it. Again, what did I say was his main goal here? What did I say was the main goal? Port. Yes. Yeah. I kind of gave you guys the secret. Always buy the dev. Nah. I think here he needs to get the port efficiency up. He just has to get the port going. And frankly, too, like, there's all sorts of advantages, right? Like, that ore that he's holding could easily be, if he can get a couple brick rolls this turn, or he can port for the road and drop it, that ore can be part of his first city build, which will also be fantastic for his game. So, as much as, like, a dev is nice, if it's a knight, it's kind of dead. It's kind of dead, you know what I mean? Versus, like, this could be part of the settle next orbit. So, I think holding's definitely the right play. And I hope you understand, so much of my game is really wrapped up in the idea of, like, having objectives. I come up with plans, and I execute the plan. And he gets a knight. Boy gets a knight. Now, look, if he gets army, more power to him. But I think this was probably the weakest dev. I mean, I just don't think he's getting army here. So I'm less concerned about the hand management when the 6 is blocked, right? The 6 is the only roll that my guy has that puts his hand over. Otherwise, I think you need to take the risk and get to the port. So I think you're playing against your own objectives here. Now, okay, maybe you can make the case he can extort for a wheat, he can roll the sheep again, and he's all good to go. But yeah, I mean, here you go, right? Like, he would have a pretty close hand to the settle. Like, yeah, that would have been the settle, I think. Now you can make the claim, okay, the 7 could roll here, and he was a genius when it was all said and done. Yep, there was that. Ooh, I kind of like this trade. Problem is, though, then he can't play the knight. I guess he doesn't really want to play the knight, right? I missed it, but let me take a break here. 1 second. I tried to get a wood trade 4 for 1 after losing 6 wood. It's tough. Yeah, well, you produce a lot of wood. I mean, even with the 6 blocked, you have 5 wood in your hand here, right? Revo, so he did start 4th position. And when you go back on the VOD, definitely go take a watch about... There's a very interesting insight with him here on the 4th position. Okay. So, I think 4 is pretty good here. I think you need to give some time for orange to catch up. Orange is definitely falling behind. Oof. So, yeah, I'd be really shocked if he gets this, especially after blocking the ore. He could port for that. I honestly think porting for the brick's pretty good too, man. I don't hate the brick port. So he could port for the brick, drop a road, roll the wood and the brick, settle, and then all of a sudden he's going to start cooking from there. So I usually say port for rare resources, and this would be definitely the case. But again, he's just slowing down getting that port efficiency, and he's been 4 for 1ing a lot here, right? I think he's 4 for 1, what, 3 times? Yeah, yeah. Like you've got to start saving cards. I mean, if you got to the port a little bit sooner, that could easily save you 5 or 6 cards in a game. But ultimately, I don't hate this. Okay, he's pacing army, so this is interesting. Yeah, I don't know if you beat orange on devs, frankly. Oh my god, what is he doing? Where are you going, brother? Where are you going? Interesting. Orange doesn't even want to double the ore? Well, interesting thing to note there is like Orange is just not a threat. Like they're not playing their position properly. They're not building the city. They're popping devs. They're porting for wood and brick and dropping roads. Like I think you can almost count Orange out of the game, just being honest with you. So now you can just put your focus on red and blue. But the issue here with popping, I just don't know if my guy can keep up with Orange. Like if Orange is just going to go all in on devs, can he actually win that game? I don't think so. But okay, let's see what he can do here. I think we just go back on the 4. Also, what's an interesting block is the 11. I don't hate the 11 or 11 brick here. 50% cracked. 1700 plus 50%. I'll take it. I mean, that will probably go down as I move up, right? I'll probably settle around 42 to 45% or something when I get towards the top. Yeah, man. I mean, okay, if you get this trade from Orange, I'm gonna be ecstatic. One thing, let's finish this turn. I want to talk to you about something here. One thing, okay, yeah. So one thing I've noticed when you have these players like Orange here, right, that they're not building cities, like they're not trading, they're kind of like just passively popping devs. They're sometimes the worst people to play army against because they're never going to put themselves in a position where they're going to win the game, but they're sure as hell going to get army, right? They're going to be kind of like the road player that never builds a city. They're going to get that 7 or 8 points, but they get stuck because they don't have a city. And those are the worst people because they just prioritize buying devs. So I can already tell you this looks like kind of a tough situation for my guy. I mean, okay, maybe he can get a port and go crazy on devs, but I always kind of get a little scared to play against these people that just pop nonstop. But he doesn't have a lot of cards, right? Because he didn't build the city, so we'll see. Also be funny if Orange decides to play like an aggressive knight or something, but I don't think so. Yeah, man, I think that 11's the block there. The 11's such a monster roll for red. 3 cards versus the 1. You could almost make the claim that the 11's even better than the 4 here. Okay. So many lessons have been learned since I played this game. Of course, man. Well, that's the cool thing. He's kind of watching this game in retrospect as well. Yeah, man. Now Red's got a monster hand. He was waiting for the brick to roll. I think the 11 was it, brother. Oh my god. And you still don't have the settle. That's crazy. So what is this? Your 4th 4-for-1 that you're attempting to put together here? I hate games when other players get convinced to build roads to extend the game, but do nothing to progress to 10. Don't even ask players for value. Look at. Hey, man. Well, yeah, I think that's kind of a phase a lot of players go through, where they don't realize how much they can ask. When you're doing, essentially community service, it's okay to get more cards, to help the board extend the game. Yeah, man, like you're stuck. And honestly, dude, okay, we've got it. We're in it to win it now. And who do you trade with? You trade with 2 wood. That's an interesting trade, right? He does have the wood port. By the way, that could have been an interesting conversation. I don't know what Orange's tendencies are. You could have maybe taken advantage of the wood port. You've had so much wood this game here, my guy. Like there was probably some interesting 3-for-1 trades where he gets kind of like that port service aspect to it. There's probably something there, man. Something to keep in mind, like trying to get some kind of trade value with him and his wood port. Could have been fun. But okay, we've got 2 knights played, 4 roads down. We finally got the port, which was the biggest thing. And what's funny, I call this every time. Every time I do one of these damn games, I always say, and you know what's going to happen, right? The blah, blah, blah is going to roll. I think the 12 is going to roll soon. Now that he's settled, the Catan gods are going to be like, you know what, dude? You should have gone 11, 12 and got 2 ore from it. If it happens, I'm just gonna laugh. He's yeah, he's circling the 12. Deep down, he knows in his heart it's coming. He knows it's coming. That's the way it goes every single time. Okay. Oh, man. The wrong 1 in 36. It's supposed to be the 12. Okay, good. Yeah, I think he still has a brick in his hand. The sheep's it's probably the wheat, dude. I don't know. It's all kind of crazy, but the 11's a big roll for him too. Sheep port's a thing. Obviously, you'd love the orange's hand, but you don't want to piss him off. I think you just gotta keep the pressure. He does also, I think, have a brick in his hand still. Because he rolled what? He rolled 3 brick. He settled. Oh, that's a great. Come on, 12. Make my day. Okay, perfect. Just keep applying pressure. I wouldn't be surprised if orange hits you or hits the 6, right? You are kind of threatening his army. But you do have a potential play. If orange is not going to be playing knights, it definitely gives you a little bit more to work with. Okay. Oh, see, man? This is what I'm talking about. You're dealing with a guy that doesn't want to win the game, but he just wants to get army. And that's like, oh, take that. Just take it. Yeah, you take the, for sure. I mean, he's literally porting to settle. And I don't know why he wants more sheep, but he does. All right. Good rolls only. Oof. I'm not really a fan of that block from orange here. Like, there's so much wood on this board. So little brick. I mean, he's got to block the resources that are a little bit more dangerous. Perfect. I think this is a decent block. You don't want red dropping more cities oh my god. You're going to get army, aren't you? You're going to get army. Unbelievable. So now he's kind of put in a weird position where my guy's probably going to fight the win condition of army. I know he's going to pop here. I just know it. He's thinking, I'm so close. Comes the VP. That's also good too. Like, I think mono's VPs, knights aren't horrible. But again, like, I really think if he went for the early 3-1 settle and then build a city, I mean, his production would just carry him into this middle game so much better. Ooh. Of all the times, so when he gets like a clean dev, he doesn't take it. But all the other times, he was 4-for-1ing for like a 7-card dev. He's going to pop. He can't stop himself. He had to do it. Okay, so you have army now, which is cracked. Now the 2's going off. Come on, 12. Okay. This is interesting too because I think red has a 2 in his hand as well. So you kind of Okay. So after his turn, we're going to assess the situation. All right, come on, roll, buddy. Oh my god. A 7 god. So best case here is he takes the ore out of red's hand while blocking the 4. Right? Stops the dev, stops the cities. Perfect. Okay. Tracking, always important, everyone. He doesn't have a play here. So let's talk about, this is kind of like a very interesting, it's the middle game, right? Like nothing is quite clear. How does my guy win this game? Let's figure that out. What's his best path to win the game? What's his easiest path to win the game? Does anyone want to throw some ideas out there? He's got army, right? So he's sitting on 6 points, technically. Orange has been a bot. Literally has played like a bot. I hate to say this and sound like an asshole, but a bot might have played a little bit better. He's on 3 points, and he had arguably one of the best starting setups. Needs a city. Double play. City road. Need utility dev for city. Brief double play window. Equipped. What is good, my man? What is good? Yeah, I think your intuition is right here. There is a window. right? This idea that he can drop a road. Like, he's technically sitting on, as far as I'm concerned, he's sitting on 8 points, right? Because he can flip a knight, drop a road. So in these situations where you kind of have like kind of an unfavorable position, if you can set up the double play, that's always great. And he does have this connect ability. He can build to the 5-9 and then wrap around this way. I'm trying to think. My guy, did you play this game in TSI? My brain is thinking about a game that we played a long time ago, but I don't remember. All right, don't tell me. Don't tell me. For some reason, I'm getting like flashbacks from like a couple weeks ago about a game that I saw. Okay. But yeah, I think the double play is definitely a consideration here. But the biggest thing is he needs to get his point. So in my mind, I think one way he could do this is pull a VP, road settle 5-9, and take road. And like that's I think his fastest path is to pull the VP, road settle, take road. That's it. So let's see if he does it. Obviously, if he can get a city as well. But the problem is once he settles again, it's he's locked, right? Oh, man, it's building. Oh, my God. It's happening. It's happening. So, yeah, these are like good to take time in the middle of the game. Like when you hit that 4 or 5 point threshold, or if like you're close to 6 points, take your time, relax, like figure out your options, come up with plans. Games change, states change. The roles can definitely change the situation. The development cards can totally change the flow of the game. So yeah, to me, like you've got to make that assessment many times throughout a game to make sure that you're on the right path here. Really needs to steal a wheat. Oh my goodness. So to me here, the sneakiest way to do this is to just drop a road 5-9. It's so innocently simple. I think porting for the wheat, not necessary. You can probably make some trades, but we're going for the sneak here. Yeah. Here it is, Operation Double Play. So like you've got to like there's almost a creativity to this game where you have to start to conjure up ideas, right? Like thinking about the settle and the VP pool, it's possible, right? Like I mean there's I think a few VPs left, and who knows, like maybe he gets some rolls for the city as well. Pulls a mono, pulls a yop or something. He's still not getting robbed. Okay, there's ore there. That's good to know. Ore for wood. Not really ideal. You could consider ore for wheat. That's also a rare resource. No. Yeah, he's got a good hand right now. And I kind of like the idea, potentially, if the 8 rolls, maybe he can extort. Yeah, but this is heating up, man. No. You got a good hand right now. Like, I think if you can get the wheat for the settle or the potential dev, I would take it. But otherwise, we're cooking. Okay, good. That's great. One thing to note here, too. What I would do here is I would wait. So I would essentially hold the knight. That way, if an 8 or a 3 rolls, I can bargain with blue, right? Because blue is going to have a lot of wheat. Versus if he automatically plays the knight, he doesn't have the ability to steal a wheat potential. And plus, like, if you're going to go for a road, you're probably better not giving the wood to red because he's probably the only person that can take road. So leaving it on the 6 is actually a pretty good block. There's a huge bias. Yeah, I mean, red is looking dangerous. Yeah, so here I would hold because the 8 rolling is a big opportunity. Obviously, maybe you're concerned about the 4 rolling, but the 6 is actually pretty good for red here. I don't want red taking road, so watch, the 8 might roll here. Yeah, I'm not crazy about this. Okay. All right. What do we do? Do we try to buy a dev, or do we just go for the simple settle? The crazy duck. Hi. What's up, buddy? The 6 makes me actionable. Yes, but also I think it does give red quite a bit, right? It's a 3-card roll for him. I'm just saying it's a role that you'd be happy if he didn't get it. So like it kind of balances out. And plus you do have some bargaining power if blue does get wheat in his hand. So from that standpoint, I think it has an offensive and defensive purpose at the same time. What does he do here? Sir Hatcham, what is good? Happy Monday. By the way, I just want to say thank you for everyone being here and showing your support. We had a bunch of first-time chatters show up and, kind of share their love. I really appreciate it. Really, really do. Yeah, we got some good people here. It's Wise. What's up, Wise? Okay, so I think he's got two key options, right? We came up with the plan. Does he buy a dev and try to get the VP and then settle and road for the win, or does he just take the settle? What would you guys do here? Can we get some ideas? Also, he could take road, right? Like he could connect for road. I think it's a little premature. I think he needs to kind of keep his production flowing. I mean, 5-9's interesting where the 9 becomes a free card. The 5 becomes a pretty nice roll for him. Trade wheat if possible. Don't think with 12 cards and a ton of wood and brick, he's going to get a lot of trades here. But he could always try. He's actually really close to a city as well. That's also something interesting to note, right? So if he does like brick for wood, kind of expensive, but he does have a city, which actually is a pretty big win for his hand. So I could see him potentially doing like sheet for wood. No, he can't do that. He would need to do brick. So brick for wood is an idea if he wants to go that route. Bam, baby. Okay, nicely done, sir. This is actually, I think, an interesting trade. Kind of like purple on a roll. Yeah, they're starting to see it now. I think this is a little unnecessary, right? Like you're giving a lot away because not only are you doing 2 for 1, but then you're also doing a 9 for 3. Almost better just to take the settle or pop a dev and then figure it out from there. Also, keep in mind, dev could be mono, it could be a yop, it could be the road builder. And all these are pretty decent for you, so... Ooh. This is... Hey, man, I feel like this is the school of dandy trading right here. Just go crazy. I kind of don't mind the pop, man, or the settle. Like, I feel like both are good. You also got to think about your hand, too. Like, that's one thing. If he settles, what is his hand composition, right? Because he doesn't want to leave his hand vulnerable to 7ing out. So if he loses 4 cards here, he goes down to 6. Practically every roll puts him over. Yeah, something to be note of. But I don't mind the settle. I think it's pretty good. He can also even settle road and go to 9 points. Not bad. And with the ore in his hand, he can do a lot of things with that. So I kind of like honestly emptying his hand here. Just like start the train. Super sneaky. Oh ho ho ho. He's okay, man. He's got rolls, right? 9-9, that wins, right? Because he can build the city. He's also tracking a little bit. Blue's got wheat. That's also true as well. If he does drop the road, obviously he becomes a monster target. But he also leaves his hand a little exposed. I think he's just in a good position. And, we'll talk about some things here in a second. As far as how he got into this position. I'm expecting potentially red to drop a road. Yeah, man. So we're off to the races now. He's got kind of like a very specific way to do this game at this point. He needs to essentially get that final point with the city or the settle. Ooh, 2 wheat would be interesting here. Oh, built-in insurance. Interesting. I kind of like it. From the standpoint, it helps his hand a little bit, and then obviously any sheep roll gets him a city. I don't think he's getting trades here, though. I think the trades are done for you. Root. Though this doesn't put him under. That puts him at 8 cards. Don't 7. Called it. Yeah, I think dropping the road maybe might have been the better play, but like you're already the target, right? Like there's no more sneaking around anymore. Like they already know what you're trying to do. All right, back to square one. Oh man. Oh brother. Okay, so we kind of lost the window. Still haven't seen that 12, by the way. So disappointed. So disappointed. Oh. And see, by the way, if you pop there, think about all the utility built into that. Another knight, you can protect your spots. Jesus Christ. What's that? Nine nines? Well, no, sorry. Yeah, 9 wood on the 9. You know what I mean. So I kind of like the pop. I felt like the pop was pretty decent. Like pop and drop a road and just kind of work it from there. That would have been 5 cards out of your hand. Like, it would have played just maybe a little bit better. Don't lose the ore. Ho ho. Okay. Nothing to fear. We can still do this. Now he's got army competition. He's got road competition. And it all kind of slipped up a little bit. All right, let me check what you guys are saying here. 9 or 4 is winning right now. Not for us. No, we need a little bit. But there's still good chances, right? You know, if 10s are rolling or the 9s are rolling, we can definitely still take road. It's that final point. It's that final point that's going to be challenging here. What's your thoughts on players taking anabolic steroids in Catan tournaments? I mean, whatever, go for it, man. If you think that makes you better. I mean, we've already got enough ragers in Catan as it is, so I don't know if that's going to help. Yeah, popping there was huge. You pop and take road. I think so. I think the pop, especially too, like for instance, if you had maybe a little bit a better lead on army, then sure. But to not pop and just pass, and all of a sudden, like let's say these players start to hunt you down army, it becomes a really big pain in the ass. So I think the pop, it has a lot of utility. The knight's always good. The VP's just winning. Mono's winning. There's like no bad dev in that situation. So that standpoint, I like the pop a lot. Generally, like when I feel the settle is going to always be there, I like to go for the pop. If I felt, oh my god, like they might try to plow the settle, I need to take it now, then sure. But in that situation, I'm all about them pops. Feel the block pain, pop and drop was the move. It's okay. It's okay. Unfortunately, road's like slowly slipping for us a bit here. Okay, this is a very ambitious trade. Yeah, now he's feeling the pain, right? This is like that pacing. We've all been here, right? We've all been here where we take the risk, we 7 out, and all of a sudden it just seems like we're getting murdered. The 9 was blocked, we rolled 3 times. It's tough. It's tough. And what's crazy, I mean, okay, obviously he did the pops early, which got him army. I still think he probably would have gotten army in a stronger fashion if he got to the port. But okay. Enough about that. Oof. You need a 7 here on red. And you also need to encourage somebody to play knight. Like, if blue can play knight here, oof, that'd be ideal. You also can take road here. So if you feel extremely threatened. Oh, man, this is so close. I mean, doesn't red just potentially have the win here? Okay, good. Maybe the 11 here, honestly. Knowing that he has the wood in hand and he has the wheat, the 11 might be winning, which I just don't like that block. Don't like that block, guys. Okay. So what do you need here? You need a 7. Need a 7 for sure. And blue, orange is still on 3 points, man. He did not graduate. I think 11 just rolled. Did it just roll? I thought the 6 rolled. You lucky dog, man. Well, I've got bad news for you, though. Your 9's going to get blocked. Your 9's getting blocked. It's over. The only thing here is you can't lose the ore, right? Because as soon as... Wow. Maybe he needs the wheat or something. Maybe the wheat was another city because he had all this damn ore in his hand. That's kind of shocking. Kind of shocking. All right, man. Red just gave you life. Like, that's the get out of jail free card from Red. If he, like, Blue's at 4, no chance. Even with the army, he goes to 6. Orange literally was dead from the beginning, the way he built his setup. So him not blocking you is crazy. You know what the play here? You can do sheep for brick, and if you get the trade, you can pop and take road. That's the cheapo play here. Any tips on making sure I don't overspeak at times in games? Also keeping my cool. I've been told a lot you yap too much. I get tacked because of it. Jesus, I don't know if I'm the right person to answer that question because I can be kind of yappy too. But I think you got to know your arena. Typically in ranked, you've got to kind of learn to keep it to a minimum. Discord, you can obviously get away with it a little bit more because of the nature of being in VC and be able to like vocally communicate. But honestly, it shouldn't be like a main feature of your arsenal, right? Like your ability to win games is not because you can yap. It's because you understand how to play the game. You understand the positions, the tactics, the strategies, the plans. So if you find you're overdoing it, maybe take a break from it, try something different, maybe have a couple games where you just don't say anything at all and see how you can make it work there. Okay, so the cheapo trade. I need 1 brick. Bro, if you get this trade. Bro. Well, first of all, who gives you this trade? Like, I think you kind of have to take road. It's not actually that bad as well. I love the scam. I love the scam trade. If he pulls a VP here, this is going to be sick. Oh my God. Oh my God. And so this is nuts. So I guess the question is how many devs in was that? I think 1 or 2 devs were pulled because I know Blue bought a dev. All right. This is it. Yeah, man, you just got to go for it, right? You can't afford to lose the brick, right? Just get out of your hand. You're dropping roads. It doesn't matter. Oh, is he cheesing them? Well, you can't give it to him after you buy a dev. Okay, yeah. Nice try there, brother. Nice try. Okay, all right. It has to be red here, right? Red's on. Oh my God. Roll 10. Okay. 4, 5, 8, 10, 11. Well, no, 11 also just gives red the extend. So what the board should do is they should try to give red 1 road because they have to assume that you just win. Oof. All right. He's got to drop a road. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. Get it. You dog. You dog. 1662. There you go. All right. So let's talk about this. Interesting, by the way. You got a yap. He's going through some of the stuff. Not a single 12. My whole theory was completely wrong, by the way. Crazy game, yeah. And it just shows you, too, like, oh, by the way, this is the trade special right here. 30 requests, getting trades done. Ghana used to actually play in the championship league. This player right here, he's been in the championship finals before. So it looks like he's playing ranked now. Yeah, he had 19 resources blocked, which I know at least 9 of those were from the 9 wood. Let's see if we go back. Okay. Nicely done, my guy. Nicely done. How did this happen? let's talk about kind of the situation for my guy and like how does he get into this position and get Army and Road. In a perfect world, right, you have two competitors on both win conditions. You have two people fighting Army and two people fighting Road. I think Red is a good candidate for Road. He has the wood. He has a pretty decent brick after he doubles the 11. And I think definitely my guy is a Road candidate, which leaves Orange and Blue really to fight Army. So honestly, the way Orange played this, I don't think Orange can ever win this game if they don't build an early city, right? They just lose pacing on production. So from that standpoint, Orange is out, right? Which definitely gives my guy a little bit more leverage to go for Army. Blue, I think he also kind of lost the thread a little bit. I think if he tried to build an early city on the 8-4-3, would have suited him much better. I didn't really follow his objectives very well, but it kind of feels like he just lost pacing. Like the fact that my guy with no wheat and no ore took Army against the guys who have the wheat and the ore just shows you how wrong their game plan was. I mean, there's no more to it than that, right? And it's not like he had a good port. He didn't get the port until the very end anyways. So part of this game was the fact that they made mistakes and he took advantage of that. Road, I think Road is definitely in his books. He's got the double wood, the double brick. Perfect. Like it makes a lot of sense that he would get Road. But getting Army should not happen. And sometimes, you get lucky like that. Sometimes you get against bad players who don't know how to play the game. Or you did, man. You 4-1'd your life away. I do think Red played pretty decently. Yeah, it's kind of weird, right? Because the game was so imbalanced with these other players not really kind of keeping their side of the bargain. Again, right? Like, I think if there was more competition against you on devs, I think Red probably wins the game just on pure production and flexibility. So from that standpoint, maybe Red need to be encouraging more dev competition for Orange, right? Things like that to where it just bounces out the game better. That's one thing you'll see with me is I'm very, very good when it comes to balancing out boards. And usually in my favor, which means the games are going to go longer. I'm going to build more advantages. I'm going to get more deals. So maybe that's where Red maybe misstepped, where they could have maybe intervened a bit to kind of slow down your game so you're not taking both win conditions. I mean, Red's mistake was blocking the wheat at the end. Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, but that was just like, yeah, I mean, that was obviously a big mistake, right? Not putting pressure on my guy and blocking the 8 made no sense. Like, it literally made 0 sense. Unless he needed a specific card to win. Other than that, like, you just got to hit my guy. So, overall, man, I think you played well. Obviously, I do think the 6-5-11 was a mistake, though. I think you hurt your game. And again, you kind of have to play assuming everyone's going to play at the highest level. Because, like, if they do, you're kind of screwed, right? Like, everyone does what they're supposed to do. You lose this game. Because you made some mistakes at the beginning that really hurt your position. Versus if you go 6-9-5, 8-4-10, start with the break, go to 8-3, play the wood ports, go to the 9-12. That setup's probably better for you. But, okay, you won the game. It happens. Pacing doesn't make too much sense to me. If you gain a lead and then you feel the robber pressure, worst case, you get pulled back to the same level. Okay, yeah, so with pacing, the issue with it is that players are very bad at adapting to when the pacing shifts. So, sure, you can pace ahead. Maybe you're a point or two ahead of everyone else. You get robbed. But what happens is the board, there's a lag to when the board usually changes its target. So, like, maybe it's supposed to switch now, but then it ends up switching 2 or 3 orbits down the road, and the damage has already been done, right? Somebody then paces way too far ahead, and you lose the game. So it's for a board to pace really well, or they have to also have a certain amount of awareness when to switch targets. And a lot of players just really suck at that. So like a good case there was Red, right? Like Red got a lot of heat while my guy was really taking off because Red had a really good start. Versus like the players need to recognize that my guy had this double play threat when he was on 4 or 5 points. I used to buy a dev card of a city for pacing, but now it's a mistake. I will say this from a pacing perspective, you can afford to pace much harder in ranked games at lower levels. because the ability for the board to be able to collaborate against you is much less, right? Like, for instance, anyone in scrims that plays a game with me, you're never going to get away with any like double play shenanigans, right? Unless you roll and pull like a god. I will make sure that the board gets balanced so that we have a game. You don't necessarily see that kind of treatment in some of these ranked games at lower levels, so you can afford to pace a little bit harder. That's when I get accused of yapping. Yeah, that's kind of the tough thing sometimes when you're, sometimes your talk can be considered table talk or trying to deflect, and you piss somebody off. Like, create feedback loops in your life. If you find you do something and you're getting a negative result consistently, take that to heart. Take that as feedback and like learn to adjust with that, right? If you find you're getting a lot of people to tell you to shut the hell up and they're blocking you, well, maybe you should try something a little bit different. Fun game, my guy. I really appreciate you sharing that. And I recognize this game. That's the funny thing. I recognize this game. I think recognizing the double play was good. Obviously you found a window. You went for it. I'm going to stand by the fact that you probably should have gone for the port, though. I think the port would have been a big win for you. Your efficiency would have gone up. And even then, like, they're still lagging behind, right? Like, I just think the port play would have suited your position much sooner, honestly. And I still like the 11-12, but the 12 didn't roll. So, okay. What can you do? All right, everyone. Well, if you appreciated it and you enjoyed that game review, feel free to give a like, get a sub to the channel. We're going to keep growing. We do a lot of great things here, show you all the latest tips and strategies on how to crush your friends and family and rank games of Catan. So, again, I appreciate you being here. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Danny is out. Peace.